Hello everyone, Mike here. So I just thought I'd try something a bit different at the start of the video, just some sort of silent footage really of the chickens and doing different things with my compost, and hopefully you could hear the birds as well in the background. Haven't heard that many actually around here this year, so it's good that I'm finally beginning to hear them. So it is the 30th of January today. Sorry I haven't done a garden video in ages, but to be honest, this time of year, as you all know, not much really changes. I'm starting to get now where I'm going to be planting some more things, and I have done a few bits and I'll show you those in a minute. I've got a nice pile of leaves here and silt and different things like that, basically just that I've been cleaning up around the farm. There's a few bits of large pieces of plastic in it, so before I put this into my compost heap I've got to just pick through it a little bit, but it should all just help. The silt and all will help with a bit of drainage, while the leaves will help with moisture in the summer. But to be honest, the way I look at it, any organic matter is a bonus, and yes, I've got to pick through it a little bit to get the plastic out. You can see it already, just luckily it's all quite big, obvious pieces, so it should make it nice and easy to actually pick through, as there aren't really any small pieces. I know there's going to be microplastics in it and all that, but unfortunately there's going to be microplastics in regular bought compost. It's end of the day, it's just there, and unfortunately there's not a lot you can do to avoid it. But this will help enrich my soil a lot more than chemical fertilizers, so I'm willing to go with that. Here's my other batch of compost all ready to go. I covered it with some sawdust that had gotten wet, so it was no good, nobody really wanted it, so I just covered it with that. And underneath, I'm hoping now there'll be some lovely compost, and then what I'll do with the sawdust is just flip it over into the next one and just use it as a cap, because it just sort of helps to seal it a little bit and hold the heat and insulate the compost so that it can do its thing and break down. And also it's pretty clear then to anybody, don't put anything on this, it's the other one, which does help, because obviously if you're not careful you've got different rates of the compost breaking down, and you sort of end up with green on the top and lovely compost on the bottom. Not that there's anything wrong with that, that's just how I want to do my compost. My dog Bilbo here has been stealing eggs from the chickens again. I went around and collected them all this morning, put them to one side, and then he's gone and tried to bury them all in my compost. Here's another couple. But I think that's all I really wanted to show you with the compost. Just, I really enjoy the compost, it's quite fun. I know a lot of you do as well, enjoy it. And my trees are actually doing really well that I've taken cuttings from, literally stuck in the ground. It would have been back in late 2020 now, and they're doing really well. These are some of the laurel, and they're definitely ready to sell now. I just need to get that polytunnel cover put on, and then I can start potting things up. But to be honest, they aren't hurting in the ground for now, they're gaining in value. It just means they're a bit more work to dig up. Same with the gristolinia, though they're not doing as well, but they're coming along. I always find the gristolinia a bit slower to sort of take at first, but once they get root, they do take off. And my privet down here are doing well, which is good, because I had to dig loads of these up and move them. So luckily they don't seem to have been affected too much. But as you can see, it's a bit overgrown down here, because I hadn't had as much time to do my gardening this year as I'd have liked. This is another bed, but I need to go through now and just dig it all over a little bit, and obviously go around my dahlias. That's why I've left the old growth of the dahlias. I don't usually like to do that, because I always worry that the rot can get into the tubers, but I also don't want to damage any tubers by slicing them in half or anything, so they're just sort of for markers for now. And then my sweet williams, again, I need to cut these really, but I want to dig around them first and get out the worst of the weeds, and then just surround them with straw, because the way I look at it, I'd sooner put straw down than tarp, because straw does, if it breaks down, it's not getting microplastics in the soil or anything like that. And when I'm done with it, if I don't want it there anymore, I can just stick it on my compost heap and get some more, because there's always bits of straw that I can use around the farm. Dahlias here again, same thing. These aren't quite so bad because I did dig these over last spring, but I just need to sort of come down and sort everything out one day. This was my most recent bit of work. It looks like nothing, but I know it's really late. I should have planted these November at the latest, but I've got 25 kilos of daffodils planted here. I've planted them very close together because I did the same last year with the daffodils I showed you at the start of the video, and I planted them late, although these are later again, to be honest. But they did all come up, and they've all come up again this year, and they do actually look really nice together. I know it's not so good for the plants, but the way I look at it, I'd sooner plant them all close together than plant, say, half of them and the other half go to waste, because I'm planning on cutting these for flowers as well. I meant to do that with the Sweet Williams, but I just did not get a chance in the summer, because as soon as I come down here and realise they were flowering, they'd sort of already begun to turn. So hopefully these do something. I'm not expecting many, to be honest. I'm not really expecting any flowers from them, but any I do get is a bonus, and next year they will flower. So with a bit of luck anyway, they will flower, so there's always that. I've got my other Griselinia here. These have done really well, considering that I had to dig these up and move them. They're doing really well. I'm quite impressed with those. And then up here are my Christmas trees, which are, well, they're getting a bit desperate now for a feed. So I'm going to, if I haven't got any decent compost ready, I will just give them a bit of fertiliser. Only because I'm not eating these, so I'm not as worried about it, as these are more my nursery beds rather than my sort of food producing beds. These are my hardwood Griselinia cuttings that I took in November. I'm going to be digging them up in a couple months just to see how they did, as I did say ages ago that I would try and do something like that. The Perennial Kale I moved. All of them but that largest plant have taken, so I'm quite pleased with that, because I wasn't expecting the larger one too, just because of how many leaves it had. It was destined to dry out, though it is still just holding on. I can see a few leaves, so hopefully that will bounce back. And then here's another area I went over. We've had some quite dry weather recently, and I took advantage of this and went in with my FF30 with the Ferguson cultivator. Just tried to work it a little bit just to save me doing it, and I think it did work out, to be fair. It's not turned to mud, which is good. I've just got to go through and pick out some of the weeds. I should have done it earlier in the week, because the weather was starting to turn, and you can see I did get a bit of wheel spin here, but it can't really be avoided, to be honest, this time of year. I was lucky to be able to come in here with the tractor at all this time of year, but because we've had a really mild winter in Cornwall. I don't know about the rest of the UK, but in Cornwall especially, we've had a really mild winter, so I thought I'd risk it, and it has paid off. So I'm going to be planting some seeds along here soon. Sort of the remnants, well, I say the remnants, I've still got loads of the Honeyvale's farm seeds that were sent to me, so I'll be using some of those in this bed and in some other beds. But I think that's it. I've rambled on for long enough now, so I did promise you that I would do a gardening and a chicken sort of video. Not really much to show with the chickens at the minute, to be honest. With the avian flu, I'm a bit wary about doing much with them. I like to just sort of leave them alone for a minute, keeping their food and all inside, and I've got their runs covered, so that no wild birds and things can get in, because we've had a few cases nearby. So I'm just trying to avoid doing anything with them, and it worked out well really, because I had a buzzard that was attacking my chickens, and it killed some of the chicks, and even some of the chickens. And then following that, everybody does it, I forgot to shut my chickens away one night, and the fox had a few. Luckily I heard it and come running down here before the fox got all of them, and they're laying again, as you saw. I had a couple of eggs this morning, so hopefully it's not shaking the survivors too much, which is good, because sometimes it can ruin chickens. And they're fine with my dogs still, which is good. I think that is it really, yeah. So chickens are doing all right, as you've seen the little clips. I haven't got so many now, and when this avian flu is over, I'll try and get them all out and I don't know, give them a bit of treat or something over in the grass so you can sort of see them all, because it is nice to see them just free ranging and having fun. They got 3/4 of an acre here that they can just usually just roam free, do whatever, dig up all of my plants that I'm trying to grow, but I like having them around, and they do actually keep the grass down quite well, so I can't complain. Anyway, I've rambled on for way too long now, so thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll have some more gardening videos again now coming out. Now we're in the spring with various different things. I do have a video that I recorded with Jim Bob from, I can't even remember what his channel's called now, it changed recently. Jim Bob's Jim Bob's Gardening and Farming. There we go. Sorry Jim, you've changed your channel name that many times I can't remember it. So I'll put a link in the description of that video when it comes out, just so you can check out his channel. But we basically just cleaned out the greenhouse and made it look a bit tidier than it was. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.